Hi everybody, it looks like we're starting to come in here for our wonderful information webinar about Illustrator opportunities through SCBWI. What we're going to do is Michael's going to present and I am going to be working the chat. So you are not going to be able to talk or have your video going. We're doing that in order to have better bandwidth and no issues potentially with the technical aspect of things. So if you guys want to chat and have questions and say hi, use the chat feature. You guys all familiar with the chat feature is? If so, go ahead and just say hi in there. Okay, so because what we're going to want to, hi Bernadette, good to see you. And we have Julie and we have, I think, Rita here so far. And then somebody's on their iPhone. Good to see you guys. So here's what we're going to do is I really want to make sure that we stay on time. We are recording this session, so if somebody for some reason is missing portions of it, don't worry, we will record it and then send you a link. But I do want to get going with Michael here. Michael is our wonderful Illustrator coordinator. His name is Michael Hale. You all are very familiar with him. And he's going to be leading you through this particular program. I am going to be in the background. If you have questions on the chat, I can answer them. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take down any questions so that at the end we can field Q&A with everybody. Or if a question is very pertinent to something that he's talking about at a given time, I can unmute myself and then basically kind of throw the question at him at that point in time. But Michael, our incredible Illustrator coordinator, designer for many years, former art director at the zoo, incredibly successful author, illustrator, several books under his belt. I am going to hand it over to you.
Well, thank you. Just wanted to say hello to everybody and thanks so much for watching. We wanted to start a little bit about SCBWI Arizona and talk about basically Illustrator opportunities throughout SCBWI. Now, if any of you missed it, we had also done a webinar a couple weeks back about opportunities through SCBWI, through writers and illustrators, just a general. That we had done, and that's a great resource that we want you to check out if you hadn't had an opportunity to do that. We recorded that webinar as well, and you can find that on YouTube at the URL that is up right now. I believe, and Tanja, you can correct me on that too. Do we have a link to that on the SCBWI Arizona website as well, correct?
We do. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat. If you go to arizona.scbwi.org, and that link is in the chat, when you get to that link, there is a green bar on the right-hand side, and you will notice a section a little bit further down. I'm just trying to pull it up as we're doing that, called Resources. It is the 7th button down. If you click on that, it is a page where we are going to list all of the different videos and different resources that we collect moving forward. And the previous Q&A video that we had done in January is already listed on there. Michael's video is going to be immediately below that. Okie doke. All right, I'm going to unmute. I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, thank you. So anyway, if you haven't had a chance to check that out and you want just a great overall introduction to SCBWI, that's a really good video to watch. So welcome everyone. We are going to be talking about Illustrator opportunities here through SCBWI. So first we're going to say SCBWI, what's in it for the eyes, the illustrators. For those of you who may not know, SCBWI has been around since 1971. But it used to just be SCBW. And it wasn't until the 1990s when Tommy DePaula said, hey, what are we going to be doing for illustrators? And the I was added on later. But it's not that we take any back seat to anybody. So there's a lot of great opportunities and there's a lot of good stuff here. So we're going to start off with, for those of you who may not be that familiar with SCBWI, what is SCBWI? The Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators is a 501c3 organization. It's the only professional organization specifically for individuals who write and illustrate for children and young adults. Our mission is to support the creation and availability of children's books in every region of the world. Through our awards, events, and publications, we give established writers and illustrators the tools and resources to manage their careers, as well as educate those who are just starting out. SCBWI is also proud to serve as a consolidated voice for our members within the publishing industry. Membership in SCBWI is open to everyone with an active interest in children's literature, from picture books to young adult novels. We welcome aspiring publishing writers, illustrators, as well as librarians, educators, artists, students, dramatists, musicians, filmmakers, translators, and others. A passion for children's literature is our #1 criterion. So let's start with SCBWI International. And when we talk about SCBWI International, we're all part of that. We are an international organization. SCBWI Arizona is just the region in which we're in. It is made up entirely of volunteers on a regional level. So we are all volunteering our time. No one on our end is paid. The only paid people through SCBWI are those that work in the head office in Los Angeles. So let's talk a little bit more. I'm going to break it down from the international level first and talk about what's available through the international offices in Los Angeles, and then we'll talk a little bit more about regional levels from there. So through SCBWI International, the first thing we want to talk about is the SCBWI website. And if you can all see my screen, I'm going to go here to the SCBWI website, which is pretty easy. If you've never been there, it's scbwi.org. I'm sure you've all been there. If you are a member, first thing you want to do is make sure that you're coming up here into the login section and you're logging yourself in, because if you come to the website and you don't log in, you're going to have limited access to the things that are on the site. It'll let you go certain places and it won't show you other things. So make sure that your login is working and that before you go into the site, that you're able to see everything by logging in. Next, we're going to look at probably the first thing that we have is, which is probably one of the best benefits for you, is the Illustrator Gallery, which here's a copy of mine right there. And if you have not gone through and put your artwork into the Illustrators Gallery, I suggest that you do. It's a great way to get your work seen. For those of you who were with us last year at the regional conference, we asked you to put your portfolio together on a digital format to have a website. For those of you that don't have a website, we ask that you put your work on the Illustrator Gallery so that it can be seen, because digital work presentation is really the way that you're going to be found. So that's one of the first things that SCBWI will be, how they'll be able to help you is to be able to show your work. And really, when you're going into to those, you just go under, let's see, showcases, the Illustrator Gallery. And this is how you find people. If most people don't know, the Illustrator Gallery is a search engine in and of itself. You have here the search gallery where you can put the name, not only your name, but other people's names. You can search by style. You can search by medium. So when you're going through and you're setting up your Illustrator Gallery, make sure that you are placing those descriptives, because it'll ask you when you put a piece of artwork in the gallery, you know, where you, what medium it is, what style it is, because if anybody goes through and does a random search through here looking for specific styles or mediums, they're going to be able to pull up your artwork based on multiple searches.
Hey, Michael?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know, maybe Sharon, you can look at this too. I'm just seeing your screen that has your picture on it. Are you actually going live through the website right now?
I am going live through the website.
Okay, because that looks like your PDF.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's what I'm seeing. Just want to see. I know you're bringing up some really good points about keywords and things like that, but I'm not seeing where you're doing that. And so I was. Is anybody else seeing that? Can you put answer in the chat? Anybody?
I'm only seeing the Illustrator Gallery Michael Hale page.
The one that was in your PDF.
Okay. Okay.
Are you there? I changed something.
I lost the whole page, so I don't have the chat available any longer as well.
No. Well, that's interesting.
I think I have to be relaunched.
Ooh, hang on.
When we were linked, when we were chatting, I clicked on the link and then I couldn't get back to.
Okay, who can I just see who's talking right now? Because I'm trying to figure out. That's interesting. Okay, if you clicked on the link, it probably took you out of there. If you want to minimize whatever window you're on. I'm trying to figure out who's chatting because we were trying to have everybody muted. Okay. All right, but I'm not seeing now.
I have remuted. I have once more muted the participants. Michael, I see just a strip of your PDF in the middle of the page. I'm not seeing anything else.
Let me see.
Let me stop this. Let me stop.
Yeah.
Is it gone now?
Now we see your lovely face. Try sharing again and then select the screen that has your web browser in it that you're using. That's interesting.
Can you see it now?
No, what we're seeing is this. Let me show you. You see that?
It's a bar?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, let me do this.
Do you want me to share my screen and go through it that way? Would that help?
Well, no, I can do it off of the PDF. So let me do this. Let me close those down. Okay, you see me again?
We appreciate everyone's patience as we work through our technical difficulties. Some of us are a little newer to this platform, and we're figuring it out. So thank you for your patience.
Okay, so you should see me, correct?
We see you now. Yep.
Okay, let me go back, and I'll just go through the PDF and see if you so you see the PDF now?
No, we still just see you.
Okay.
Go back down to share.
Yep.
Is it giving you different?
There. Can you see me now?
Yes. Now we see your PDF again.
Okay. Let me stick with the PDF because it could be just something with open windows.
Okay. That sounds good.
Windows. So going back and talking about the Illustrator Gallery. The Illustrator Gallery, like I said, making sure that you get your descriptive language in there so that it can be used in the search mode. So they can look for you by name, they can look for you by medium, or they can look for you by how you classify your artwork, whether it be cartoon, whether, there are so many ways to do it. When you go through that series, make sure you get it down. So the Illustrator Gallery is the first feature. The one thing that you will find too is when you first open the SCBWI page, there's always a featured illustrator. You cannot be the featured illustrator if you don't have your artwork in the gallery. They pick different illustrators through the gallery. It is done by the home office. They look for different things, different seasonal features, different things like that they can feature different illustrators in. And they just kind of pick it because they like your artwork, and then they use that as the splash page. And with considering the amount of hits and everything else that the international website gets, it's a great way to get noticed. But like I said, make sure that you have your artwork in the gallery, because you cannot be the featured illustrator unless you have work featured in the gallery. The next big thing that you have is this, the book, access to the book. And the book this is the hard copy. This is also available on the website in PDF format. You can pay for this. I believe it's $15 to have it printed and sent to you. If you don't want to have it, you can get all of the same information in PDF format off of the SCBWI website. The one on the website version is updated more often than the print version is. So I would suggest do the PDF first, not the printed, just because that information, especially when you get deep into trying to query agents or different houses, people move around, it's great to have the most updated version available for you. But things that are specific to illustrators in the book, and you can see just all the things that I have tagged right here. I mean, just, it is a wealth of information. And, you know, starting in the first thing, we have, you know, an illustrator's guide that just talks about illustrators in publishing today and how to make yourself relevant. We have a Jumpstart Your Creative Career and how to become a working illustrator. They have a whole section on how to put together a prize-winning portfolio and the criteria for that. Now, we offer continuing workshops on these same things all the time, but the basic stuff is here in the book. It tells you how to put together picture book dummies, which we've also done classes on, but this will give you the basics. So all the basics are here. Demystifying digital dummies, how to put together digital dummies, you know, and even come back and saying that it takes it through for illustrators of saying, okay, you've been hired to illustrate a book, now what? How to use the best professional references and everything to put that together. It has tips on starting critique groups, which are very important for illustrators. Market surveys are really, that's the next section when it starts in the market surveys. And the market surveys are the lists of publishers, art directors, magazines that are accepting submissions, and it gives you the basics on how to submit to them. So read those carefully when you're going through. But like I said, all this is available to you. And just understand that it would take forever to compile this information yourself. And by the time you got it all compiled, it would be irrelevant. So, I mean, it would all be out of date by the time you put it together on your own. So the book is probably the best resource that you have on the site. And it's not just for writers. There is an equal amount of illustrator information in there. Agent directories are on there as well. If you're looking for an agent and looking for representation, agents are on there, what they're looking for, who's looking for illustrator only, who's looking for author illustrators. All of that information is there. There's also information in the back, which is general information on classes, places where you can go for education, to continue taking illustration classes if you wanted to do that. Which I looked at. We have to update some of that for Arizona because we have some new resources on education as well. The next issue that we have that comes through.
Michael?
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to, that book is your member benefit. So if you're a member, you all have access to that book. Michael has the hard copy, but on the website, everything is available electronically, and it's a searchable PDF. So if you're looking for something specific, you are able to actually search that particular document to get to the question that you're looking for. We just had 2 questions that kind of related to the gallery, and I thought, do you want me to ask those to you, send them to you now, or?
Sure.
Okay. One person asked in regards to how many pieces minimum should you have in the gallery?
Putting your pieces together for the gallery should be the same as you have that you use in your portfolio. If you have I would say 10 to 12 pieces. That's perfect because you don't want to do that. The only way that I would say that you would put multiple pieces on there is if you break up your portfolio into different specialities. So for instance, if you're doing picture books, you may want to have 10 to 12 picture book images in there. If you're also doing middle grade work, or if you're wanting to do covers for YA, then you may break that up and you may have more. But those things won't always pull up right away on the search, because if someone searches your name, it's just going to pull up everything. And really the page, the way the page loads as well, it can only hold, I believe, 15 images before you have to scroll on to the next page. So they may not ever scroll on to the second page. So I would recommend trying to keep to about a dozen images if you possibly can.
The other question was, if we have a portfolio website set up, do you recommend mirroring the pieces there in the SCBWI gallery?
Yes, I would. When you update your website, I would say update your Illustrator gallery within SCBWI as well. Keep them parallel. Even there in your profile, your profile that runs along the side, that'll tell about you. You can also put a link to your website, which you may have other information, but as far as just being able to quickly look at the information, you want to update it as much as you would your website. And it's very easy to do.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. The next thing that we have is the bulletin, which you may get in hard copy form like this, or you may get it in a digital format like I do. They give you an option when you first signed up whether or not you're getting the bulletin or not. But the thing that's really cool about the bulletin is the art spot, which all these nice little images that they have. And I believe I have some on mine as well, where I said, I think there was one that I had originally put in. Yeah, I think that was one that I put in, I had in the bulletin years ago. And really, they're not asking for specific illustrations. You provide the illustrations to them. They keep them on file. If they use them, they will pay you $25 for the artwork. And then you'll also get a publishing credit, which is really nice because that can get you PAL status, which is published and listed because you're in a major publication. So it's an important thing to be able to do that. And if you go to the SCBWI International website and click on Art Spot under the references, you can find it in there. You'll find out where you send those. You send those off to Sarah Baker, and Sarah keeps them on file. She knows that she has them, and if they use them in the bulletin, then they'll use that. They'll pay you for them. So it's a great resource to have, but keep in mind they only do black and white. That's all they're looking for. So read all the criteria on ArtSpot. The next is the SCBWI Insight, which comes to you usually in an email every month. And Insight usually is a quick newsletter that comes to you digitally. But for illustrators, one of the other things that they have is the Draw This, which is a prompt that comes every single month that encourages illustrators to draw something for the next month. And then when the next monthly Insight comes out, then they put that into a gallery that people can go and comment on and look at your work. It's a monthly prompt. I would recommend that everybody do it a couple of times just for the sake of doing it. It's a great way to put your artwork out there, and also to see a great way to gauge whether or not your artwork is holding up to other people's within the market. This is a piece that I did. The prompt was reflection. So they'll just give you a one-word prompt. You know, it'll say like happiness or, you know, lucky or something like that, where they'll give you that prompt. And it's really nice because a lot of people are participating. It's a great way to start dialogues with people. It's really funny. I met a lot of very nice people just chatting back and forth about artwork by doing the Insight. And then there's also the Pro Insider, which you can get if you're it's the published and listed. The Pro Insider is a digital publication for published and listed members, and it's a quarterly newsletter filled with information on building and maintaining a successful career as a professional writer or illustrator. So it's kind of taking it up to the next notch, where if this is something that you're working on a regular basis on, if something you're doing professionally, Pro Insider features articles about contracts, royalties, marketing, school visits, doing taxes, everything a professional writer or illustrator might know. So then we also have podcasts. SCBWI releases regularly monthly 30 to 45-minute podcasts with interviews from leaders in the field of children's literature, from editors and art directors to authors and illustrators. And SCBWI members can download these podcasts for free. So those are things that are specific to just your general membership, with the exception of the Pro Insider, which you have to be labeled as a PAL member. But since you're all gonna get published on ArtSpot, then you can be a PAL member and still get the Pro Insider. So let's talk about awards and grants that are offered through SCBWI that are specific to illustrators. There are a lot of them, and a lot of things that you can apply for. There's the Book Launch Award, which provides authors or illustrators $2,000 in funds to help promote their newly published work and take their marketing strategy into their own creative hands. So if you recently had a book published, or it's a great one for first-time publishing, if you ever do that, make sure that you apply for the Book Launch Award through SCBWI. I believe Sharon Skinner actually got it for her debut picture book. She was awarded a Book Launch Award and was able to put that money towards marketing, which is great. You have the Crystal Kite Awards, which are peer-given award to recognize great books from 15 different SCBWI regional divisions, which we all from the regional part will submit books. So when you get published, that's a good award to get. The Golden Kite Awards, which are awarded to by a jury of the peers. So SCBWI, this is kind of like the SCBWI Oscars, the Golden Kite Awards are. And they recognize excellence in children's literature in 5 categories, which are young reader, middle grade fiction, adult fiction, nonfiction, picture books, and picture book illustration. So there is one just for picture book illustration in the Golden Kite. So that would be one of the biggest awards that they have. We also have the Magazine Merit Award for original magazine work for young people in the categories of fiction, nonfiction, illustration, and poetry. So it has its own illustration award. You have the Martha Weston Grant, which was established to remember Martha Weston. The grant helps authors and illustrators who want to switch children's book genres. So if, for instance, you're doing picture books now and you say you wanted to start doing middle grade or YA, or if you're one of the others and then you want to do the others, you can apply for the Martha Weston Grant and say, hey, I've had this body of work and now I want to move into a different direction. So they can help you do that. The Spark Award, which is the annual award that recognizes excellence in children's book published through a non-traditional publishing route. So if
which Michael got an honor for his monkey business book, Bad Monkey Business book.
Yes, last year. Thank you. But it is, it gets awarded to the illustrators as well as the author. So if you are working with an author on a book and that author is self-publishing, or if you are an author illustrator, make sure that you can only apply for the Spark Award if both the author and the illustrator are members of SCBWI. In my case, it didn't really matter because I was an author illustrator, but it's always a nice thing to do. And if someone does ever hire you as an illustrator to self-publish a book, make sure that you get them to sign up for SCBWI and submit it, because the Spark Award is a great way to get recognized.
Oh, but Michael, just one quick thing with the Spark Award, isn't it that both author and we were just talking about that they both have to be SCBWI members, correct?
Correct. They both have to be members. So the work in progress grants, which are really great, and there are a couple of work in progress grants, but the Don Freeman work in progress grant is one specifically for illustrators. So if you have a work in progress, if you have a dummy, you have something else going on that you're looking to get published, and it has not been published yet, you can apply and submit that for the Don Freeman Award. You also have the portfolio awards, which are awarded at the Los Angeles and the New York conferences. So if you put your portfolio into the showcase in either of those national conferences, you are eligible for portfolio awards. And those portfolio awards can either win you mentorships with art directors and or agents or editors. They can also get you free stuff, but usually someone who wins a portfolio award at the contest, it's pretty much a good launch for their careers. We've had a lot of members, especially local Arizona members, who have won portfolio awards and have gone on to start really successful careers.
We've actually had 4 winners. Did you know that? Laura Jacobson, Amanda Shepard, Juana Martinez-Neal, and Molly Idle all got their breaks by winning that award.
Yeah.
Portfolio showcase.
Yeah, all Arizona members. That's great. We also have student illustrator scholarships, which if you have a student membership through SCBWI, those awards are given as well when the portfolios are viewed. They always give the portfolio awards and the student ones as well. There's also a really great one, which is called the Narrative Art Award, which used to be, which was actually started by Tommy DePaola, the guy who put the I in SCBWI. And the Narrative Art Award is is given with a prompt every year. Within the prompt, they give you a direction. I believe this year it was a Sherlock Holmes theme or mystery theme. And then what they want to see is 3 pieces, 3 illustrated pieces that show that the illustration is moving the narrative forward. So it's a really cool award. And if you win the Narrative Art Award, you get a free trip to New York to go to the conference there and show your portfolio, and they announce it to everybody during the conference. And we also have the SCBWI Speakers Bureau, which you can go on just like putting your profile on there. If you are willing to and have material that you can go out into the public and do speakers events and presentations, you can put that listing on the SCBWI website. It works out well because you can also refer people to that so they can see your legitimacy. And the nice thing about illustration is, even if you're working on picture books, you can be speaking at different places just on art and speaking to adults. You can be working with high schools. You can be working with middle schools. You can be working with grade schools. You can take it across the board. And the Speakers Bureau gives you an opportunity to list yourself as being willing and able to do that. SCBWI national conferences, want to make sure that you understand that there are 2 national conferences. There's one in New York City that takes place in February, and there's one that takes place in Los Angeles in August. I didn't put the exact dates in there because the dates change a little bit. And also because usually it's like the first week of February in New York City. But because they're changing the venue next year, that may not be in that exact time. Los Angeles is usually the first week in August, but sometimes it may give or take depending on what they want to do or how they're able to set it up. A couple of things that I wanted to keep in mind is both of these conferences are important to illustrators because they give you an opportunity to showcase your artwork through a portfolio showcase. In New York City, if you ever plan on going to New York, I would suggest that you register early because that conference is smaller than the one in Los Angeles. They limit the amount of people that are able to go, and it generally sells out. Sometimes the Los Angeles conference sells out as well. So if it's something that you're looking to do, make sure that you register early. In both cases, you're able to show portfolios, but only in LA are you able to do an Illustrator intensive and get a review, which is a one-on-one review, kind of like we do here in Los Angeles. You take your portfolio, you are assigned a reviewer, and then you sit down with that person one-on-one, and they flip through your portfolio and let you know what they think. In Los Angeles, you're able to show in New York City, you're able to show your portfolio, but you don't get the one-on-one review. Also in Los Angeles, there is an added day that comes at the last day of the Los Angeles convention, in which they offer an Illustrator intensive. It does cost extra money, and you do pay extra to go. But if you ever get a chance to do it, you get to work and do one-on-one stuff with some of the most relevant people in the industry today. Not only illustrators, but also art directors, publishers. It changes every year.
You know, I wanted to, before we get too far away from it, the thing about the showcases is the faculty, all the faculty that is at the conferences for that given time has a private time to go see all that artwork. So they get to look at the artwork, even if you don't see faculty in there when it's crowded, when all of the attendees are there. You know that editors, art directors, and agents do go and look at those showcases. In fact, isn't that how Michaela got her agent in New York? She
Yes.
saw her postcard and ended up connecting with her that way. The other thing I wanted to say about New York, because it is in the hub of publishing, the New York conference, even if somebody is not on the faculty, pretty much all the editors, art directors, and agents that are located in New York will go to the showcase just to look at the artwork. So it is like a one-stop shopping for them. So it's a really good opportunity. So if you are considering to go to one of the conferences, make sure as an illustrator that you do take advantage of the portfolio showcase.
Yeah. And the other thing that they've done and they've changed as well in New York is they have combined the portfolio showcase with the Golden Kite Awards. So that way they make sure that as many industry people as possible are in the room, and because they come for the Golden Kite Awards, and at the same time the portfolios are made available at the same event.
And what they try to do is they try to have a real high caliber speaker during the Golden Kite. This past February it was Justice Sonia Sotomayor that presented, and so all of publishing was in that room. So it's a really great opportunity.
Yeah, and that's the second year that they've had very high profile speakers. Also, there are international webinars that are available. We have a link to this on our site, but the link on our site, if you go over to the resources off to the side, you can find and click on webinars, and it'll take you to this same site, which is the Nevada regional site, where they have all the webinars that are listed through all of the regional chapters. So if you want to thumb through those, you can look for those, find what's upcoming, seeing what you want to sign up for. There's a lot of great information that's available through these webinars, but you never really know until you look. So if you think there might be something that you're looking for, and maybe you don't have the ability to travel to a national conference or see a lot of these people, you still get a lot of great information coming out of these webinars. So let's talk about SCBWI Arizona. So what's happening in my area? Lots of stuff. So let's elaborate a little bit about that. We have the regional conference that'll be coming up September 20th and 21st. The 20th is the Friday night faculty dinner. The 20th or the 21st will be the all-day conference. This will be at the same location that we had last year, which is in Mesa. Registration for this conference is going to be opening up around the 1st of June, give or take a week in there, depending on where we have, but be looking for more information on that coming up. What happens at our regional conference? We do portfolio reviews, but we do them a little differently than we do at the national level. We do ours digitally so that you will have to put together your, submit your portfolio on a website or through the Illustrator gallery. And those will be reviewed by an art director or an agent. Most likely an art director who will be seeing your work and will not only be looking at your work on the portfolio, but also the presentation of your website and making sure that it's easy and everything else. And they'll give you some great tips. Those portfolio reviews that we do come in writing. So even though it's great to have that one-on-one experience when you go to a national conference, the hard part is you get 15 minutes. And by the time the pleasantries and everything get out of the way, the clock's ticking and they go really fast. And you come out of it going, okay, what did they just say to me? I have no idea. So it's nice to have these portfolio reviews in writing that you can go back, you can refer to and do that. We also have the Illustrator Showcase. Our Illustrator Showcase, some of you may have participated in this last year. It's a one-piece show, or it's a one-piece display where every illustrator brings in a framed or matted piece of artwork that goes into a gallery display during the conference. We're going to have those displayed very prominently this year. We're really excited about that. During that same showcase, you can also have the opportunity to display a dummy if you have put one together and would like to put it out with your artwork. So you can have a story dummy or picture book dummy out there. You get an opportunity to meet publishers who come out. You get an opportunity to meet literary agents who come out and art directors if they're included. And also there is the faculty dinner, and that's the only thing that takes place on Friday night. Once again, this is a very limited opportunity, and there are only a set number of seats that are able to go to the faculty dinner. So I would suggest that if you can get there, because you'll get to talk one-on-one to faculty members that have come in for the conference, that you register early and be ready to get that, because it'll sell out. I think, Tanja, we sold out within the first hour.
We sold out well before the first day of registration was over. And one of the reasons that that is such a great opportunity is you're actually sitting down and having dinner with a faculty member, and it gives you the opportunity to get to know these people as human beings, as people, and not just, oh, editor or art director. And you would be amazed at how much they appreciate that, because they become a target sometimes when they go to a conference, everybody wanting them to publish their work, their writing, their illustrations. So getting to know them a little bit better on a human level is one of the best ways to nurture a contact that you'll be able to have more long-standing, instead of just kind of seeing them on a panel.
Very true. So and then we also have our regular Illustrator meetings. Now we're scheduling Illustrator meetings. In fact, we'll be scheduling throughout the rest of the year, starting in the coming week. We'll be getting the rest of our dates down for the rest of the year. We do spread them out. We have them in Tucson. We have them in Phoenix. We're trying to do more in northern Arizona as well, to try and make sure that we're getting to everyone. If you've attended those, it's great to see you. We like to see the work that everyone is doing. Try to get some input and really try to come together with a sense of community and saying that, you know, everybody knows who the illustrators are in the group and that we're all getting to know each other. We're going to be doing more craft workshops, and those I want to see input from you people as well. Coming back and saying, Michael, this is what I want to see. I want to know more about this medium or this technique, or I want to know this is what I'm working on and I'm stuck, or I want to know more about it. Please give me feedback, because those craft workshops we want to put together based on what you'd like to see. So I always ask people, just throw me those ideas, because we want to make sure that you're getting what you need. Critique mix, and some of you participated in these last year. We do these for both writers and illustrators, and we do them as not only a way to look at your work and critique it and talk about the things that you're doing, but also to prep you and get you ready for the regional conference or a national conference if that's what you're working on. So for those people that are going to be putting together portfolios or going to be doing manuscript reviews, we look for the critique nicks coming up in your area, because you'll want to come out to those and do some peer-related critiquing. And usually it's myself or Tanya or someone else that is on the planning committee is there as well.
One thing, the critique nicks are a member benefit. So they are, you have to be a member in order to take advantage of those. But they really are a great help to get your work looked at prior to sending it in for one of the manuscript critiques that you might want to sign up at the conference. So, but it is a member benefit.
Yep. And then monthly Kidlet Mingles, which we have, I believe it's now, we're up to like 6 or 7 in the state. We have 3 that are 4 that are happening in Phoenix now. We have one in the East Valley, we have one in North Scottsdale, we have one West Valley, we have one Central Phoenix. We have one that's happening in Tucson. And these are happening every month. There's also one that happens periodically in northern Arizona, but it's kind of switching cities. There's one in Kingman as well that has just started up. And this is a way to come together, talk about what you're working on, and meet more people that are working on the same things you do, with the hopes of maybe if you meet enough people that you can start forming your own critique groups. We at SCBWI really encourage you to get into a critique group, but we do not set them up. And the reason is we want to make sure that you are comfortable with the people that you're working with, that you're able to get valuable feedback, and that you're feeling safe and secure in the work that you're sharing, as well as your own personal bodily stuff. We just don't, we don't want to put you in a room with somebody you may not know. So those type of, the Kidlet Mingles are really just a way to come together, kind of share our mutual passion for children's literature and meet more people. That's really what they're all about. We also...
And to support each other, because it can be a very lonely thing that we do alone in our little studios and offices. So the Kidlet Mingles are a great way to connect.
Yeah, very true. We also are coming up and planning on an Illustrator Day, and this will, we're working with different things, and this is going to come together on an Illustrator specific workshop day that we put together with probably either art directors or a very well-known illustrator that is working on craft, that they will be specific exercises that happen this day. Very similar to what I told you about on the Illustrator Intensive that happens in Los Angeles, where there will be hands-on things, work that is done on site during that day, and that we're coming together to do some hands-on stuff. So be looking forward for that. Also, Illustrator exhibits. We have our first one that is going to be coming up on April 27th. It's called The Art of Story. It's going to be at the Changing Hands bookstore in Phoenix. And in this one, we've already chosen, because the venue only allows, it's pretty small, and it only allows for about 5 different people to show 2 pieces. So it's not very big, but we are going to be looking for other places where we can exhibit artwork, where we can get kind of a general call from our illustrators to say, hey, if you want to exhibit some of your work, you can bring it to this place. This is where we're going to be doing it. So we'll have more exhibits coming up. But if you get a chance, I encourage you to go to this one that's coming up at the Changing Hands bookstore in Phoenix, which is right on Camelback and 3rd Avenue. It is also going to be the launch of Juana Martinez Neal's new book, Baby Moon. But she is one of 5 illustrators. Lynn Averill will be showing work there. Molly Idle, Michaela Prevost-Smith, and did I have all 5? Oh, and Stevie Lewis will also be showing their work there. So it's going to be a great event. We're looking forward to that, and really using it as a launch to have more Illustrator exhibits that are coming up. And let's not forget the SCBWI logo contest. We have that coming up. If you're going to take part in that, we need you to submit your entry to me by May 1st. If you have any questions on that, you can ask me about those. Once again, the logo we've been using is about 12 years old. And if you look at some of the other logos that have been done by other regions, you'll see why we're looking to update. We want to get something that's a little more illustrative and a little less graphic, and is also using 4-color artwork rather than 3, just because we want something that is a little more illustrative. And just so you know, any other questions, anything else, I'm always available on my SCBWI email. Please feel free to shoot me a question. Doesn't matter, you know, what it is. I spend a lot of time, and I try to be very diligent about answering questions from Illustrator members. And you know, I'm here for you guys. So I always tell people I don't care. I spend a couple hours, you know, every week on the phone talking to people through their projects, things like the things that they're working on. If you have any specific questions, feel free to call me at any time with an Illustrator question if it has to do with SCBWI. So now we're back. So I'm not sure if we had any other questions.
I have not gotten any other questions. We're about 8 minutes away from 8.
Okay.
So all the questions I've gotten, we've kind of covered already.
Okay.
Feel free to put in the chat any other questions that you guys are thinking about, any other items that you guys maybe would like to have some additional information on. That would be really helpful if you wanted to.
I just want to point out, in case people didn't see the comment earlier, I regularly, through various channels as the RA, get requests from people who say, oh, I wrote a children's picture book, or, you know, I'm looking for an illustrator for whatever project. And whenever those kinds of requests come in, you know, back to the gallery on the website that Michael was talking about, I direct people to the SCBWI main website, to the search. I tell them, put in Illustrator, go do a search, and look at the artwork, and then contact the illustrators there and ask them about availability and fee structure for what you're interested in doing. So again, that Illustrator gallery is another way that you may get an opportunity you might not otherwise get.
Yeah. And I have had, I don't know if any of the rest of you have, but I have had people contact me through the Illustrator gallery and say, hey, I went on the Illustrator gallery, I saw your work. You know, are you able to do some work for me? And actually, I think my 3rd picture book came from someone who found me on the gallery.
My Salt and Soap book came to me that way. They were looking for an Arizona illustrator, and when that book came out, it was very successful. So
yeah. And that's generally the first resource that I will send people to, because I can't think of a more direct way to help someone find someone who is writing a children's book and needs a children's book author, and especially finding people who are serious and want to do the work. It's really a good resource for any illustrator.
how are you guys doing?
So there's a question about not seeing a deadline for the Student Illustrator Scholarship. You can either contact Sarah, or you can email info@scbwi.org, and someone will get it to the right person. They'll get you that information. Sometimes that stuff is not on there. Sometimes old information is on there. They don't quite get it updated, especially if it's right after a conference like New York. So, but yes, you can always reach out to headquarters and ask those questions. They're happy to answer those questions.
And I think what happened this past year, the Work in Progress Award was, I think, the deadline of March or April. They actually kept extending it. So that actual deadline ended up falling sometime in August or September. So it is a little bit in flux. If you have any specific questions pertaining to any of them, I believe they actually, if you click on it, give you more information on the specifics, and there should be usually some type of email in there. So you could always go ahead and connect with them that way. I think Sarah Diamond is also somebody over at SCBWI that deals with that specifically.
Yeah. But Illustrator questions directly, if you ever have a problem getting through to headquarters, or if you don't think you're able to get through to somebody, contact me as well, and then I can forward the question on to them and try and get an answer, because it's easy for me to go on and say, hey, listen, I had a specific member had this question. I need to get back to them quickly. Can you provide me with the answer?
Yeah, use your resources. We are here for you. Granted, we are volunteers, but we try to be as responsive and accessible as we possibly can. So, you know, please reach out to us as well. You should have all of our email addresses, and or you can go on the website, and all of our email addresses should be listed as well on the website, on our webpage.
Which, if you look at we've started putting everybody that is part of our regional team and the Kidlit hosts, we're putting everybody's photos up there, so that when you are going to a Kidlit mingle and you are new, then you should be able to identify who the host is. Again, we just started, and so we're still waiting for some of the photos, but if you want to kind of know who's who, that gives you a good idea in Arizona, who's who. So I think we had said we were going to be here from 7 to 8. We're about 3 minutes away. So I just want to make sure that if anybody has any other questions, please, please, please let us know. Let me see.
I think we're good. Well, thank you everyone for showing up too. We appreciate you being on and asking all these awesome questions and being an involved member, an engaged member of the region. And we're here to support you. So we appreciate you being here. And as Tanja pointed out earlier, we will be sending out a link to this video, but it will also be posted on our YouTube channel that we created just for these types of videos, so that you can access them at your leisure.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Appreciate you coming out and watching. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. I'm going to turn the recording off, all right? Thanks, guys.